Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, we've got here a couple of very interesting devices from Vivo. It's actually the V30 series, but I'm going to primarily be focused on the V30 Pro. Now the reason why these are very interesting devices, let me share. Because this is actually a mid-range device that costs from under 2K for the non-Pro and up to 2599 for the Pro. Now what's cool here is that this is the first time we are seeing a ZEISS collab on a mid-range device that costs just RM2599. Now other than that, it also comes with a very interesting LED kind of ring flash. Let me show it to you. It's called the Aura Light 3.0. There we go. It's actually at the back here. And initially I thought that it was sort of like a gimmick, but it actually worked very well. So I'll talk more about that later as well. Now this device here is actually again focused on portraits. So today's video is going to be mainly focused on that. Let's start the video right away. Now let's talk a bit about the cameras because that's clearly the star of the show where Vivo is really focusing on. And for this, you actually do get a very interesting set of sensors. Now at the back of the Pro, there's actually a triple camera setup, and it's actually a 50 megapixel main. You have a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle. You also have a 50 megapixel telephoto portrait lens. And if you want to talk about the selfie camera at the front, yep, you've guessed it right. It's also a 50 megapixel unit with autofocus. So that's us in terms of the cameras. Everything is 50 megapixels. All right, so what else do we have here in terms of the ZEISS? It's not just the brand at the back here. You do have a couple of ZEISS filters in there, which you can actually play with. It was available on the previous devices, so it's now here on the mid-range phone. And it's actually quite fun because you do have a bit of different kind of like light refractions kind of effects. And it just creates a very interesting kind of photo that, you know, is very similar to what you could get on the flagship models. Just in case you want to take pictures of normal objects, you know, I did actually try it outdoors as well. The pictures actually turned out looking very natural. I did turn on the ZEISS natural mode. There's also a vivid as well as a textured, but I prefer the natural because it just keeps the colors in check. Everything looks very true to life, and it was actually able to capture a very good set of photos. So that's in terms of the ZEISS. Now in terms of that ring flash at the back, the Aura Light Portrait 3.0, yeah, I've got a couple of my points here. So this flash here, what's so special about it? Now I actually did a couple of tests to find out if it really worked. And on a typical smartphone, you actually use your LED flash and you will notice that it's actually very concentrated and it's actually very bright at a certain spot. However, for this sort of like the Aura Light Portrait 3.0, what you are getting here is not just that square ring design, but what's most important here is that the flash itself is so much more softer and it's a very even kind of lighting. Another cool trick that the flash has is that it's actually able to detect the distance, you know, between the subject as well as the phone. Other than that, you can actually adjust the temperature of it, so you can make it even warmer all the way to the left, or you can swipe the toggle all the way to the right and you can actually have a very cool kind of flash. So it depends on the kind of colors that you want. Now moving on, what else can you expect from this device? Well, it's actually very, very slim. You know, Vivo is saying that this is their slimmest device to date. It's 7.45 millimeters, if that means anything to you. But basically, long story short, it's very, very thin, and yet it still houses a 5000 mAh battery in here. And it also supports 80-watt flash charge, which is also quite fast. Now, other than that, the device itself is powered by the Dimensity 8200 processor. It's actually quite powerful. It's very similar to the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 that's on the non-Pro version. Very interesting set of selection. And in terms of the display at the front, you're getting a curved display, which is very similar to what you get on Vivo phones. So it's 120 Hz AMOLED, everything is very bright, colors looks great. So yeah, you're getting a pretty decent package here with the Vivo V30 Pro. Now, just in case you're wondering about the V30, what's different compared to the Pro? Well, first and foremost, you might notice that the ZEISS logo is no longer here, so it doesn't have the ZEISS coloring and all that. It's also only having two sensors at the back, so it has the 50 megapixel main as well as a 50 megapixel ultra wide. It does not have the 50 megapixel portrait lens, so you're missing out on that. If you're wondering if you still get that special Aura Light Portrait 3.0, yes, you still get that square, you know, light at the back. And in terms of the processor, it's different, like I said earlier, Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 on the non-Pro and Dimensity 8200 on the Pro. So that pretty much wraps up our coverage on the Vivo V30 series. Again, these phones here are primarily aimed at those with a mid-range kind of budget who wants to take really good portrait pictures of people. If you are that kind of person, or if you fit into that category, you should definitely check out the Vivo V30 Pro 5G. It has those ZEISS filters, which is very fun to play with. It has those triple 50 megapixel cameras, which is not something that you see very often at this kind of price point. It has that 512 gigabytes memory, by the way, so you can store a ton of photos, and overall I think it's a very solid offering from Vivo. With that said, thank you for watching today's video all the way till the end. Don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care and stay safe. Bye bye.